Taking the tap.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the KOT BOL podcast. Keepers of truth and bridges of love. Exploring the world through family.
Join us as we journey through 6 main elements: food, art, music, inspiration, love, and yoga. We are your hosts, KenG.
And Bridgette Marie.
Welcome to the family. All right. This is our first podcast ever.
We made it here today.
It's been a long time dream and finally got to this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with us. My name's Kenneth Goff, Bridgette Marie, Dice.
Yes. And we will share a little bit of how we got here on this journey and our dreams of bringing this podcast to life, exploring through the elements of the family.
Yeah. I think we've been together for almost, 9 years now? And we started our journey with a beautiful vision to open a nonprofit healing sanctuary, learning center based around these elements. I think we first started with food, art, and music and brought in inspiration, love, and yoga. It spells family. It's all about bringing us all together, sharing our gifts, helping to heal. And yeah, those 6 elements are just kind of the main ones that seem to have been really relevant in our lives and things that have helped to really heal through things and what we feel is beneficial to engage in. And yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can talk a little bit deeper about the elements later. First, let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
We know each other pretty well, but
We're getting there.
yeah, we're getting there.
Every day, more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a beautiful journey. Where should we start?
From the beginning.
Dun dun. But what is the beginning?
Well, where were you born, Bridgette?
Oh, that beginning. I was born in San Diego, Mercy Hospital. Most of my family is born in that hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a big family.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
My siblings, the youngest was not born there, so
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Yep.
Yeah. Shout out, Gabe.
We love you. But so, yeah, I was born there, and then I think when I was 5, my family moved to Northern California, close to the Oregon border, a little town called Horse Creek.
Sweet little town.
Yeah.
And you guys still own that same house that you grew up in down in San Diego. Really cool house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my mom and dad's first house. They were renting it out for a while, so it's still in the family. It's nice.
So you guys all packed up into...
We packed up into my mom and dad's Subaru. It was this cool, big, brown Subaru. I remember it had purple tinted windows, and it was this, I don't know, we just make a big bed in the back, and just all the kids pile up and sleep in the back
Wow.
while we go on a long haul road trip.
And there's 7 of you at this point. Seven kids.
Yes, it was right after my younger sister, Catherine, was born, so she was the baby, and they decided to hit the road after that. They didn't want to bring their kids up in the city life, and so we moved to the beautiful mountains up there on the Klamath River. And I'm really happy they did that because I love the forest, and
Yeah.
it was a good place for kids to grow up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Seems to be much more beneficial than city life. Although, there's, I think, benefits to each.
Yeah, you grew up in the city life.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, as San Luis Obispo, not very large city, kind of a small, easygoing town. And yeah, born and raised San Luis Obispo, and went to mission school. Grew up right across the street from the Catholic Church, so the mission school was a Catholic school. So we used to walk across the street, go to church. I would walk to school down the road, which is nice. Ride my bike every once in a while. And yeah, went to, what was it, being an altar boy?
Yep. That
To,
was cute.
yeah.
Cute little altar boy.
Anyways,
Anyway.
18, moved down to San Diego. I mean, there's a whole lot to tell about my early life, and maybe we can get into that at some point. But yeah, moved to San Diego, went to the Art Institute down there, and eventually met you in a beautiful location called Rooted Kava Bar. This is Mystic Water when it was first.
Yeah, Mystic Waters. It was
Mystic Water.
nice.
And we started working together for about a year until we started dating after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave us a great opportunity to get to know each other before dating.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Get to know that I got to get to know that you were a kind man, and
Yeah. And you're such a special lady.
thanks. But through that journey in the life, too, it's like I think we've learned so much about the elements that we want to talk on. It's like through food, art, and music, love, inspiration, and yoga. It's like those different things that have helped us on our journey through life so far and continue to help us and expand in different ways. But for me, like right now, I'm just thinking about art, like how it's been so powerful in my life. And I've seen in so many people's lives, like how they can utilizing that avenue of art to be, to express themselves in ways that sometimes they may not be able to through words.
Yeah. You remember when you started expressing yourself through art?
I don't know exactly when. We were always super creative in our family. We always had the ability. I mean, like we always had art supplies, and the
Nice.
time, I felt like that was welcomed in our family, and it was like encouraged to be creative. And my mother and father were both very creative people and make beautiful art. Both of them make gorgeous art. So I always felt very encouraged whenever doing any art. So it felt good, but I also felt like you were allowed to, like it was okay. Like if you were sitting there drawing something, it just felt like, okay, I can do this. Like I was, I don't know, something, just that freedom.
Yeah, nice to have parents that foster that creativity. My parents were similar in always having art projects and creating things. And my mom's such an amazing artist still and does some beautiful collage work. And my dad was just an awesome like illustrator, super fine detail pen work. And yeah, definitely see that coming through in the things that I create. So it's nice to have surroundings that enable that creativity to flourish. And if you don't grow up in that, I think it's a little difficult to kind of bring it out. At least I know my dad was always kind of scribbling on napkins and didn't think it was really like worth anything, or he just liked to do it. And I always thought like it's amazing and you should like frame those things and really like, yeah, foster it more for yourself. But, whether it was his growing up that he just didn't think it was important. And I even remember going to art school and thinking like being an artist isn't going to be like, I guess beneficial or like be a good career or something. And just kind of had the idea that it was a childish thing to do. and it kind of felt like people around me thought that also. Um, yeah.
You feel like that's a true belief or maybe like a false belief?
Well, I think that it was something that I believed for sure. Whether or not other people thought the same way is, I don't really know.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I think that even going to art school, I had this inner thought and belief that it was childish and it wasn't like a a strong career path. It was just something that I wanted to do, and it felt like being a kid and just enjoying doing things that didn't seem to have much merit in the world. It's like, yeah, I can, draw some things, but then what kind of thing? And I went into graphic design, and it made it feel more like this is a logical path, and I can help people to create logos and business cards and websites and those kind of things. And it was much more pragmatic, like useful things to create rather than just drawing for the sake of drawing and just my own enjoyment or other people to look at and enjoy. Yeah. And currently, my views on art have definitely changed since then. And you did
Where do you think that came from? That
the views?
or the views on it, maybe it not being like something worthy of doing or something that was going to bring a proper income. It sounds like that you're not feeling like it would bring something stable in the job world.
Yeah, I think because going to school, like high school, I mean, it was like a class, but it was just kind of like one of those classes that was not taken very seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like you go to art class and it's like, yeah, to me, it just wasn't taken very seriously by students and staff. And so I think that kind of taught me and showed me that it wasn't serious and yeah, not something that I would want to continue doing because other people didn't take it seriously. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, seemed like that's why.
Interesting. Yeah.
Did you go to art?
I
Or
did
you took
take
some art
classes. I took some art classes in college,
Mm-hmm.
but I enjoyed them. I mean, I did some ceramics and then oil painting and what else, sculpting, and I enjoyed all of them very much.
Yeah, yeah, and I think
I
you
think
are much more of the
I just get lost in it. Like,
the true creative artist. I see you as being an amazing creative artist, and you have this beautiful open creativity to create things.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like for me it was. I also did a lot of art history classes, taking art history, but just learning about it and seeing how different artists in the past have learned to express themselves through different mediums, I thought was very beautiful. Like sometimes I have found it very hard to communicate through words, and like sometimes even just as starting this podcast, trying to get the words straight to for our introduction was very difficult for me with my words. It's like some words are backwards for me, but with art, I could find, like, I could use colors. It was like a whole different language. Like, I could use textures and different mediums for different, to express how my feelings were. Like, I get muddy with us or with paper mache. And so it's like, I'm feeling like this junky, yucky feelings, it's just like, or it's just like it was like a 3-dimensional feeling you could create when you're sculpting. And it's like, and so that's why I found a lot of healing in it, and like being able to create these things, like whether someone can look at it and see what you were feeling, or if they wondering, will anybody ever get this? I don't know, but I'm gonna put it out there, and let it loose and create this sculpture or painting. It's kind of, I don't know, just I've always really enjoyed that expression of self through that way.
Yeah, and I definitely can see the freedom in that expression, and that to me is the healing that can occur through creative arts, is just that pure freedom to express yourself, yeah, without holding back, and doing so in a loving way. Is obviously, we can get to the topic of love and the importance of it. Um, yeah, so I definitely see you as being the master of the arts, as far as like helping people, guiding people through their own expression, because you're so free in your expression and your creativity through the arts. Um, yeah.
I don't know about I don't know about master, but
Yeah.
hey,
Well, I see you as like, yeah,
helper, guider.
amazing guide.
Hey.
Yeah. What else?
What else?
And
What-
currently you are creating your own art studio upstairs,
Yes,
which
on
is
our
fun.
new location. I'm excited. I'm very excited to have space to be more creative. For the last 9 years or so, we've lived in very tiny spaces, and so we kind of, in our new location, we have a lot more space. Ken has more space for his music equipment and sound system and everything, like, and I have a little space to create for an art studio. And
Beautiful surroundings up here in
Yeah.
the Santa Cruz Mountains.
yes, in the redwoods, it's very beautiful and inspiring.
Yeah. And a dream come true. It's just been
We
amazing.
finally finished the floor in the art studio, so perhaps one day we'll put some pictures on here.
Yeah.
But Ken did cool, like, bamboo flooring. We were short about a little bit of flooring, so we put in a little bit of tile work, mosaic tile work.
Which
And
made it just pop even more and
yeah,
be such a cool, creative little splash.
with a little crystal grid inside of it. So it's fun.
Yeah. Bridgette and I have done a lot of building when we didn't have enough materials, and we salvage a lot of materials, which has been really fun, and also kind of makes you pull out the creative side, because you don't have enough wood flooring, so you pull out some tiles, and yeah, it just kind of makes you think outside the box when you're when you don't have unlimited funds and only access to certain things.
And I think where you can recycle things too is like awesome
Totally.
way to bring in reusing stuff, because
Upcycle.
yeah, there's so much already on this earth that could be used, and so the more we can just use what we already have, or maybe what somebody else is throwing out.
Yeah. Like your brother Gabe does amazing work with their nonprofit Endangered Concepts, and they make,
Gabriel Maria.
and Maria, they make these just incredible sculptures that are filled with trash that it's like plastic that doesn't get recycled, and then they create these beautiful forms on top of that, and with little truth windows that you can see the inside with all the plastic inside of it and what it's really made out of. And they usually have a plaque explaining it, and it's all endangered species that they are creating,
beautiful
and
work.
raising awareness. Another shout out to Gabe and Maria. But your whole family is pretty amazing, and
Yeah,
as far
thanks.
as being artists and woodworkers,
They
and
are amazing. Each one of them, just every time I see their artwork, I'm blown away. Like, like, wow.
Yeah.
Everybody should look, I don't know. It's just sometimes when you're surprised, like, well, I don't know, when you get a peek, even when I like peek at your artwork too, just like sometimes like, wow, like amazing. Like, and, sometimes we get to just do that stuff. Like I was just thinking about how you were saying your dad would doodle on his, a napkin or something. It would be like a gorgeous piece of art. And sometimes we see that stuff and we're just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, like, but it's just been, it's either hidden away in someone's sketchbook or on a napkin, that ends up under someone's coffee cup and then in the trash, it's just like, oh my gosh, like all these beautiful works of art, like, but it kind of makes me think about like those beautiful mandalas that the Buddhist monks make, it's just like all this time creating this piece of art, and then it's like when we can bring our minds to sit there and focus on something and just create something beautiful and not be attached to the outcome of it. Where is it going to end up? Where is it going to be? But how do I get on top of that?
The fleetingness, the temporary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were saying about all my siblings creating
Yeah.
artwork. It's just like, I think about all of them, like being able to, put their stuff up in a little shop or something. It's just like, if we all collaborated and did that, how cool that would be.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's one of our beautiful thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we drinking here, Bridget?
We have a little rose and blue lotus tea with some red raspberry leaf. And a little yerba santa. Yerba Santa has helped us clear our throats a little bit for giving us nice microphone voice.
That's delicious.
And
So we could talk a little bit about food. Food is definitely one of the major things I think that can help aid us in our healing, because it's something that we do every single day. Everybody eats. And the things that we put into our body are obviously going to almost instantaneously create...
sweet. Yeah.
Is it time?
Well, I mean, sorry to interrupt what you were just
That's all
going
right.
to say, but it is your birthday.
Dun, dun, dun,
and
dun.
we're talking about food, and we have a birthday cake right here.
Special wish candle.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ken. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, babe. It's so beautiful.
Make a wish.
Yay. Thanks, babe. Gorgeous.
Food. Like cake.
Food.
Well, you're on the topic of food.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful masterpiece.
Lemon, raspberry, strawberry cake.
Poppy seed.
Poppy seed. Lemon poppy seed with a little lemon frosted raspberry strawberry filling.
Yum. Woohoo. Yeah.
Okay, now.
Okay, now.
Now. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's all right.
You were talking about you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
What a beautiful
expressing
cake.
your food.
Yeah. Just saying how important it is, the things that we put into our body. Bridget and I are both vegan, and feel that is kind of the best way to feed ourselves, as it being one of the most loving ways to feed ourselves, where we're doing our best to not hurt anybody or anything else, and helping to take care of the planet.
Yeah. Well, I like to practice ahimsa, where it's a practice of nonviolence. So not killing any animals or any beings, living beings, and respecting that they're here on this earth for a purpose. And I know some may say that maybe their purpose is to feed me or something, but maybe that works for you, but I haven't found it for myself.
Yeah, and there's so many amazing things out there that we can eat other than, animals and the things that come from animals. We do find some honey sometimes, that comes from people that are really taking care of their bees and
Yeah, some local
not harming them in the
sweet
process. And
beekeepers.
shout out another Gabriel and Katie Rose. Yeah, some amazing friends. Which this podcast we're going to be having a lot of guests, hopefully, in all the arenas of food, art, music, inspiration, love, and yoga, and
And
yeah, have some in-depth conversations with them about
some of the people that we've met in this beautiful human family on Earth.
amazing.
I'm so excited to bring them on here and share them with you guys. So
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about our growing up and kind of the things that
a wee bit.
a wee bit. I think there's so much more.
Yeah, but we don't have 500 hours to be on here.
Yeah. We do, but probably don't
But
want
we'll
to
space
right now.
it out. We're trying to make each show at least an
Yeah.
hour long.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit more if you're up for it.
Yeah, I think we get.
Just about music has been such an amazing healing tool for me, especially in recent years. I grew up taking some lessons here and there with piano and drums, and my parents were able to give me lessons on a few things, which was an amazing starting out in my journey of finding my voice. I sang in the choir in church, and that was incredible. That was, yeah, a huge thing that I always go back to as being such a wonderful experience when I was growing up. Yeah, so music currently is one of the main ways that I express myself and find my freedom. Yeah, and inspiration inspired to. Oh, you want to talk about music a little bit?
A little bit. I
Okay.
was just wondering when did you first start like writing your own songs and playing? Like it seems like you gravitate more towards your guitar and singing.
Yeah, I picked up. My mom played guitar when I was growing up. She played when she was growing up, but she was an amazing inspiration for me to just kind of dabble with the guitar. I never took lessons on guitar, but it was always in the house, and she would play every once in a while, and I would just kind of pick it up and pluck around. And then eventually, like 18, I think is when I really wanted to learn it and started learning some chords. And I was kind of like writing poetry at the time and really liked hip hop. So I was kind of writing raps and kind of singing along. And then eventually there was some friends in the hip hop world that wanted some help singing on their hip hop songs, singing the hooks, which was really fun for me because I love singing, but I also love hip hop. And the lyricism behind it and all that. So yeah, I started to write basically, I think my own poetry was where the songs kind of came from. Yeah. And currently still just resonate fully with guitar, and it's such an amazing portable instrument to take places and be able to create songs and play and sing along to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, because I know your great grandmother, she was an opera singer, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you are singing, like, do you ever feel connected to your ancestors, or
Yeah.
just being able to channel that? Because sometimes I feel like it's such a great force coming from you, like a vibrant, but it's like powerful too. But it's like, wow, like. But I wonder how connected that is.
Yeah, definitely. When I learned that she was, it made me want to pursue it even more because it just felt right, and I was being supported by family. You know, it's easier to do things when you have family support.
Totally.
Yeah. My brother Brendan helped to support financially some recordings and actually like printing my first album, and
Nice.
it's just amazing to have that support. My mom and dad was always super supportive, and I think ancestral ties can definitely help us as well if we're open to it. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's not something that I think I actively engage in, but when I am singing and sometimes it sounds somewhat operatic, sometimes I do think about her and like, oh, maybe this is where that's coming from, or just those kind of thoughts. But I don't like actively engage in like, great grandma,
Channeling.
be with me and channel through me.
Cool.
Yeah, because I think our own expression, individual expression is important, and the things that we have inside of us and our own soul, and the expression of that is more important than like, maybe not more important, but just as important.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you've been starting to do some more singing, which sounds really good. I like what
Trying
you've
to
been doing.
connect more with my voice.
It sounds really nice.
Thanks.
I'm playing
Yeah.
some instruments here and there.
Mm-mm.
Xylophone,
Yeah.
some
I want to
drums.
get more into it. I haven't been doing too much.
Did you
We
played
lost
anything when you were growing up?
we did take piano lessons a little bit when we were kids, but I was very distracted, and the teacher would always give us like popsicles on the breaks. So I was like, can we take a break now? But that was kind of like, I was more into dancing. I think like I love to be love listening to classical, like ballet. I love ballet dancing. That was fun. We'd put on little ballet shows and stuff. But I didn't start playing instrument until I was like I really wanted to learn the bass or something, and so.
I think it's that.
So I bought a bass. I think I was like maybe 20 or something. And you think that's going to mess it up?
Probably. It'll
Sorry,
stop
little
eventually.
interference with the phone.
There we go.
But yeah, I bought a bass, and I don't know how old I was. I think maybe I was 20 or 21 or something. But that was fun. I love the sound of bass. I also love the sound, the like upright bass. But those are very big.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. But I took some lessons because I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna learn. But
For the bass.
for bass, that was my first instrument I bought and was trying to, like, I committed. I took maybe a year to two, maybe a year and a half of lessons. But I don't know. I feel like I've never had a lot of encouragement for anybody back me up. And so for me and even like with my voice, like speaking, like I do speak with people, but from a small child, it was kind of like, which I don't blame my mother too much because she had 8 kids, and I imagine her, like there was a saying in our family, which I feel like is kind of hindered my voice some, but it's, children are to be seen and not heard. And so that I feel like is now what I'm 41 now. My sisters might kill me for saying how old I am.
Don't tell anybody.
I'm the oldest one in the family. Just joking. Anyway, so, I'm still healing that child wound, I guess, where I feel like my mother and father did the best they knew how, but not knowing how that would affect someone as they grow older, like when you're not allowed to express yourself and really,
Yeah.
you just want to be a good kid so your parents are happy with you. You think, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk. Maybe I shouldn't, I should be quiet. And so, anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to get too deep into that, but I have come to realize that even, just trying to be a good kid and be quiet for mommy and daddy, or for how that can hinder your voice as an adult.
Yeah.
So I am trying to reconnect to that because I do love singing and I do love music, and maybe one day I can express myself more freely.
Yeah.
I think there's always room to grow.
And we'll talk a little bit about inspiration. So inspiration, I've always thought that that's just like the fuel that keeps us going, and the things that we get inspired by motivate us to do what we really want to do. And I feel that we all have that spark inside of us that just needs to also be fostered and helped along, and to do the things we're really inspired to do. It seems like a lot of times kids, get put into a box and told to just learn, the ways that the school systems teach us. So I think it's really important to foster that at a young age, to see what each individual child really likes to be doing, and help them in that process of like tapping into that. And you can do that at any age. Obviously, it's easier when you're younger, I think, because we just do what we really want to be doing, and if we're not held back, we just do it.
So things that inspire you when you're a kid?
When I was a kid, it was definitely singing. I loved to sing, and I think that, we used to have really fun little, like, jam sessions on air guitars and jumping through paper and singing like rock stars, and just having a lot of fun with it. And that was just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And something I'm still doing.
Yeah.
And feel like I'll probably continue to do, because it's just, something that I'm really called to do. And cooking is also something that I'm totally inspired by, and things that, help.
What is it about cooking that inspires you?
The sensationalness of it really invigorates all of our senses: the smell, the taste, the texture, and how much we can help to share that with somebody else. And it really brings us all together around the dinner table or the breakfast table or whatever it is. It's just something that we all commune around, and I really like that aspect of it. But there's just so much to it, all the different ingredients that you can get into, and just the plethora of ways to mix and create things. Yeah. What are you inspired by when you were young?
When I was young? Well, I definitely was inspired. I love cooking too. It's like love being able to add all the different flavors in there and spices, or just, I think, inspire me in my adult life, like learning about what all those different spices or foods and like plants, like all the health benefits they offer. It's like mind blowing what these plants can do for our bodies. When they say food is medicine, it's like, it is so true. It's like, wow. Like, even just adding black pepper on top of your food, how it can, help you absorb so many more nutrients out of your food. It's like,
open your capillaries.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know, just all these different little ingredients that we can add. It's fun to create those things. And so inspiring to learn about it. It's like the earth and all of its offerings. Just to me, it just feels like it's like saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Or like, just like, it's so, nurturing and healing, and just like abundant in all of its ways of giving life to the all the beings on life, all the living beings on life. It's like, you know, walking in the forest, like it just feels so alive, and you just feel like everything is either decomposing and feeding each other. It's like, you know, the slugs are eating the decomposing leaves and the alive leaves. You know, it's just like everything is just this crazy circle of life, and it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, life is inspiring.
Life is very inspiring. I find so many things inspiring, you know.
Yeah, I
Friends'
think
words and art and music, different melodies.
recently,
Sitting in silence can be very inspiring.
yeah, sustainable building practices has been something that's been really inspiring for me
Yeah.
recently, and just helping to fix things. I'm inspired to do that anytime
Yeah.
I see something that's broken. I feel inspired to help try to fix it if I can, and
Yeah.
it ended up getting a general contractor's license because of that inspiration. Yeah, I love to build things and help to fix things. Brings us to love. Talk a little bit about love.
Okay. Love.
The energy of love, one of the most important things in the world, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And how we treat one another, and how our energy affects our surroundings.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
just,
big.
it's like the basis of all life's laws, I guess. Like the universal laws are all based around how we act, and the consequences of our actions are based upon whether or not they were loving or not.
Yeah. I think it all comes back to us in some way or another.
Yeah, not just us, but we're affecting
Yeah.
everybody.
Others.
And
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a chain of reactions. So
yeah,
things happen from the different degrees of love or not loving.
yeah, it's just super important.
Yeah. I feel like one of the, oh, just like this comes to mind when we think about love or talking about love. I remember just having the opportunity to like tell my father that I loved him before he died. You know, it's just like how many people don't have the opportunity, you know, but it's like, when losing our father, I felt like that really helped all. I mean, it was horrible and sad, but all my siblings, we like have brought us closer together. Like I felt like we would say, "I love you" before we leave. You know, each other. We would give each other a hug. You know, and be like, "Oh, I love you." Like I care. You know, it's like we showed each other that we cared about each other because we knew that it might not. You know, it might be the last chance you get to see them. And like it was a different kind of. I mean, it was just like seizing that opportunity each time you get it, because you never know when it's gonna be gone. You know.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
totally. Yeah, and I think if we can get to the point where we're loving in all situations and all interactions, that to me is like
Yeah.
you're golden. That's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
And I feel that's where I hope to get to at some point, to always be completely 100% loving in all my interactions with
Yeah.
everybody and with everything.
Yeah,
And
because life
whether
is
that's,
short. It's like,
yeah,
or it's long, and you have more and more opportunities to be loving. It's like,
yeah. It seems like we're only here for maybe 100 years. I mean, I think, some of the oldest people live to be 100 and something, but that's
yeah,
like pretty much all we get here.
yeah,
Whether or not you believe in an afterlife is a different story, and it's
yeah.
do what you can
Right.
with the knowledge that you have, and while we have our physical form, I think it's important.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
Yeah, and how we show love, everybody seems to show love differently,
Yeah.
but I think there's just a universal understanding and experience of what love actually is. You know it when you feel it, and you can tell when somebody's not being loving, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like a wayfinder inside of us. We have this ability to detect when somebody's being nice and when they're not, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
seems
definitely. It's like, yeah, I can feel it. I know when there's something going on, or if somebody is, maybe they're trying to protect themselves from being hurt or something, and they're not loving love in. It's like they're putting up these walls. Maybe they've felt like they'll be hurt by it. I don't know, or maybe what they thought was love, or they're, who know. People have. I mean, there's so many people that have not experienced, I think, truly being loved, maybe by their caretakers, like their mothers or their fathers or whoever was raising them. Maybe didn't get an opportunity to be truly treated with love and respect. So they haven't even received like true love yet.
yeah,
Maybe little bits here and there from passing strangers, when I feel like we can all be loving in different acts, like when you tell somebody, that they sneeze and you say God bless you. It's kind of like it's a kind gesture. But or or you hold the door open for someone when at the store, or like help someone pick up their lemons that spilled. It's like, it's these little tiny acts that we can act with love to one another. But the I also believe in like the ripple effect too, is like how that helps. It can bring, maybe inspire them to be loving, or just, wow, kindness, receive a little bit of kindness that came from a loving space or place. But just seizing each opportunity we can to be kind and loving to each other.
yeah,
Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not, but the more you do it, the easier it's going to get.
totally. And sometimes those little small actions that we take can have huge effects, whether or not we see it right in front of us, or like you said, the ripple effect that eventually gets to this massive wave, tidal wave of love that
Yeah.
can help. Maybe not a tidal wave isn't the best word, but
But imagine that. What would that be like? Whoa. What
yeah,
if
yeah.
a tidal wave of goodness flooded through your town, your city?
Coming to a town near
That's
you.
exactly what I was just going to say.
And the last element, yoga. Let's talk a little bit about that. Amazing yoga instructor. One of my favorite yoga
Me
instructors.
too.
Ah, thanks.
Um,
And it's such a healing thing that we can do for ourselves, and just taking time to stretch and breathe. One of the most important things also. I mean, all these things are so important. That's why we're doing this podcast, and we stand for learning more about all these elements. And that's why we want to bring you along on this journey, because we've found all these things to be super helpful and beneficial to us, and we want to share these things with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
What kind? You're Hatha yoga,
I
trained in Hatha
did a
yoga?
teacher training in Hatha yoga.
Do you remember the first yoga that you did,
First yoga I did,
or where it was? Or
first, I
you had some
first experience with yoga, I was started in a book my sister Angelina had.
Oh,
I think it was Angelina's book. Maybe she got it from the library. I'm not sure exactly, but it was like 28 days of yoga.
shout out, Ange.
Thanks, Angelina. I remember I was taking care of my grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side, and I had a lot of time to do yoga. So I just started learning out of a book, and it's just like, and I remember it's after I went, actually it's kind of a funny story, because it was after I went and saw Circus Soleil, and I was like blown away by the circus people, like doing all, like the trapeze and like the contortionists, like
Whoa.
being able to get their bodies in these positions, and like, wow, I want to do that. Like, I want to go, and I love the costumes. Like, I love to sew and make costumes too. So it's like, and dress up like, and plus like the ballet part. So it's kind of like mixing like that creative the creative of dance and costumes, like everything together. And I was like, wow, you know, like if I did yoga, I could get in those positions. Like, you know? So I started like trying to just doing a bunch of yoga and like, you know, learning to stand on my head and stuff. That's just like, wow, that, you know, that was fun. So that was kind of like my first introduction. And then like, then I think I was probably like 18 then. And then when I got a job at, I was working at this orthodontist office for, I probably was like 9 or 8 years by then. I think I worked there for 10 years. And then, but sometime, I think it was like maybe the 9th year or something, I was like thinking, wow, a friend invited me to go to yoga class with him. And so I went and it felt so good. And the girl that was teaching it, I was just like, wow, she was like my age. And I was just like, how did you learn how to do this? Like, because I just started thinking like how cool that would be to be sharing with people something I actually loved. Like I was kind of getting sick of working at the job I was at. So I was like, how awesome would that be to actually be loving what I was doing for work? And so then I thought, well, why don't you use some of the money that you're working so hard for at this job to learn to do something you love? So then I looked for teacher training. Actually, I wanted to also learn massage, but then I decided like the yoga fit into my schedule better than the massage too, because I really wanted to learn Thai massage. Thai massage, I think is very. I love that it's kind of like some people call it the lazy man's yoga, because you're having someone else move your body for you in these positions. But I love that you can really, really get deep, nice deep body work done. It feels really good. I love it. I know not everybody does, but it's too intense for some. But that is kind of how I got into
Amazing.
hatha yoga. Yeah, I found out. Went to my teacher. I think you're okay with me saying, but Nicole, the Pilgrim of the Heart. She was my teacher there, so I loved it. It was one of the best times of my life. Yeah, and I met so many, like, made friends with all the people in my class, and it was one of the best decisions I ever felt like I made. Like, it was, I mean, I did yoga. One of the assignment, like part of the training was you had to do yoga every single day. And so you had unlimited passes to their studios, and their studio, I think they had either two locations. Yeah, I think they had 2 locations. So I would go to yoga, like sometimes I'd go to classes, was probably a little too, I don't know, I would go sometimes 3 times a day. Like I would just do back-to-back classes. It felt amazing to do that much like yoga, just, you know, because it's such a peaceful place. But I feel like one of the things we learned is that you store different emotions in all parts of your body. And so I've really felt like doing that much yoga and just really getting in there and trying to pay attention to the different emotions that were coming up and work through it and breathe. Just be there in the quietness of your class and breathing. Like, it was so beneficial. I felt like and it was fun to experience many different teachers' styles of teaching to doing it that way. And like, because everybody has such a beautiful, unique way of doing it.
Yeah.
And bringing what they've learned or their heart is bringing forth to, you know, like their words that they speak during the class. Or
So nice to have that chance to practice with so many different teachers.
Yeah, it was a good. I'm very grateful for that time of life.
And you seem to be very well rounded in your classes that I've taken from you, and it
Thanks.
maybe came from having gone to so many different classes and having different instructors and taking all the little pieces from each that you really enjoy.
I feel
But
like
obviously
the
you-
training was they did a lot of really, I mean, a lot of beneficial things, I think, like, yeah, I'm losing my words on, but it was they're very attuned to detail and the anatomy of the body. And like, I feel like really a slow practice can be so much more beneficial than a fast practice. And to really take your time to get into each pose and like, try to find a good alignment to better honor your body in that space. And plus, also that yoga is not only on the mat. It's like, it's not only it's not only the asana, it's not just the poses, it's also the practice off the mat. It's like, I feel like where you can, take that practice of just like focusing on your breath, like when you're doing anything, if you're cutting some wood or like pulling weeds, just trying to stay in tune with the breath and just staying in that connection where they say like yoga means like the yoking, like the union with like our creator, right? That's what the word means. So it's like, for me, that was another beautiful thing about yoga. It's just like, that connection is so important. I feel like getting to know you more, and it's like knowing that was such a big part of your life, is the connection with God, is like our creator, is such a important thing for you. And because it's always, I would say it's almost always been, there's been times where maybe I was in a dark place, but I've always felt like that was the most important thing. And it still is, like, even, feel like any healthy relationship, that should be the most, your first
Relationship
priority.
with
Priority.
totally. It can definitely help.
Yeah.
For sure. I think if we have our creator as our first point of like making sure that relationship is good.
Yeah.
And then the relationship with your partner can be even more amazing.
Yeah.
And your relationship with everybody and everything
but
gets
that
more
connection,
amazing.
yeah, and like sometimes, you can use the asana, like the yoga practice, to like, it's made to help you like detach or just kind of release all those emotions or that stress and tension in the body that may be distracting you from that connection. And or connecting with the breath, and trying to quiet the monkey mind a little bit.
Yeah.
What was your introduction to yoga?
I think it was also a book when I was really young. I think my dad had this really nice library full of books, old books. And I remember picking up one and it was like Yoga Nidra. I think it was, where the guy was like rinsing out his insides with a towel. It's like this whole picture display of how to do it. And just like, what is this? What is this guy doing?
That's scary.
It was cool though. I was so interested. I was like, what is this magic that he's doing? To me, it was like a magic trick. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's like,
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Using a towel and actually like washing out inside.
Yeah.
Anyways, never done that and don't know if I ever will, but that was, my first introduction to like that side of things, because obviously growing up Catholic, didn't have much of that. I think my dad was always interested in kind of Eastern philosophy and thought, and he was a transcendental meditation practitioner for his whole, or at least all of my life. I remember being really young and walking in on him, just meditating, sitting quietly with his eyes closed and just kind of breathing and not moving and thinking that, he's asleep.
Yeah.
But just kind of sitting there, sitting up. That was just, that was also introduction to meditation, which I think yoga helps get us to that point of being able to sit in meditation, because the practices of asanas, all the postures and the breath work do clear out our energy and allow us to then sit quietly without the monkey mind going on and without anything in our body yelling at us, to then have that pure connection where we can sit quietly and pray and talk, and just be clear, have a clear connection. Yeah, and then getting into yoga, good friend Shara really kind of brought me in and showed me the beginning, like the postures and breath work, and eventually took a teacher training with Adesh. Shout out Adesh from Rooted Kava Bar. Yeah, amazing. So all these elements, we're going to be talking more in depth. It seems like we're probably getting to the point, I think. I don't know what time it is, but
Hopefully we didn't go too far over time.
I think we're good. We don't really have a time limit. Thank you guys for watching, and we hope you tune into the next one.
Yes, it's so good to finally get on here, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to share
Yeah.
our dreams.
We hope you join along on the next ones.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll bring some great guests on here.
Mm-hmm.
Good friends and family. And
yeah. Planning to have some chefs, some artists, some musicians, some motivational speakers, some healers, yogis, yoginis, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Love you.
Love you so much.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye. For now.
Mm. 1 hour. 1 hour?